I'm not going to do justice to this game with the shortness and brevity of what I'm about to say. Dirtside, or it's actually called Battlestation's Dirtside, is a sequel slash can be mixed with Battlestations. Battlestation from Jeff Siadek, Guerrilla Games, is a gigantic game in which you are on it's essentially a role-playing game in a box, because you're a person who moves around a spaceship, but that spaceship also goes to planets, and then you go to planets and you go around, not so much planets, but you go to space stations and stuff. So part of that game, you had a spaceship moving around a map. The other part, you were inside spaceships and space stations moving around. Dirtside takes that same concept and is now bringing it, they take out the spaceship movement per se. You now have the spaceships that you can move around in, but you're also landing on the planet. That's the name of the game, Dirtside. Let's look in the box. So let's take a look at what's going on. Dirtside is mostly involved in this book here. This is essentially an RPG, a role-playing game book. You're going to have a character, and you'll notice these characters have various stats on the side. The background shows kind of what they are. This, for example, is a scientist. They have some special abilities, and they're all over the place with different weird characters that you can be. You will be building planets using these boards. You'll see grids for them, and in fact, they even have in this gigantic book, there's a whole section on random planets that you can find with different things that will happen on that planet. It just shows you the order to put them in. And then it will have in here missions. So this is the tutorial campaign, and then there's mission 2. And you'll be moving around and fighting bad guys. The game is going to be using two-sided dice checks. So in this game, you're going to be making a lot of checks. So let's say there's a difficulty of 9. You'll roll 2 six-sided dice, and your abilities will subtract. Maybe I have an ability of 2 in that, so it would only be a 7 I needed to roll or higher. So there are some missions in here, but there's a whole lot more in here. Again, realize what you're getting into when you play this. It's going to talk about threats and how the bad guys work. It's going to give you all the different actions that you can take. There's a big section on combat, engineering, piloting, many different special actions, terrain, and vehicles. A quick note here about vehicles. The game comes with a bunch of small tiles. Now, you'll notice here, these can be placed on the board as terrain. But the other side, you can build spaceships with these. So, for example, here's a human ship. This one's already put together. You can even cut these out if you want to use them, rather than putting these together. But you're making a ship that you can then move around and interact with these ships. So there's a lot of stuff going on with vehicles. There's tanks, heavy lifters, buildings, ship modules, and then these just talk about all the different rooms in the ship, what they do. You can create your own characters if you want to, rather than using one of the pre-built one. This explains all the special abilities. This tells you, look at that, drugs, new equipment. I already mentioned the planets. Lots of different missions that can show up. And then a crossover campaign if you want to mix this with the original battle stations. So this is, like I said, there's a lot going in. This is not a game you're going to learn in 10 minutes, but it is deep and involved, and hopefully this gives you an idea of what it's like. Yeah, there's just too much here for me to really go into this in detail. This, for me, I'm just going to give my rating out of the way, is a 6 out of 10, but it's a 6 that I respect. Nowadays, where I'm at in board gaming, I don't have time to spend on this game. This says 1 to 2 hours per mission, but it's more than that, because this is 1 to 2 hours per mission. And in fact, in the beginning, when you first open it up, they're like, welcome to Dirtside. And this is, it's designed so you can open up and start playing right away. Here's some references. You can kind of start playing right away, but you're going to look things up all the time. This is great. Don't get me wrong. I think that if you want to play a space game, a space RPG, that also has miniatures. There's a box of miniatures here. And a lot of predefined rules. You don't want to necessarily play to the whims of a game master. In fact, you don't need a game master for this. Then this is fantastic for you. I didn't mess with the compatibility to Battle Stations itself, although you can see they're pretty much, there's a lot of similarities in the same game. It's one of the things I'll say about this world that I love is that all the aliens are aliens. They're not humans with horns or human Klingons or whatever. They're very alien. So that's neat. And there's tons of variety and so much content in this box. So you should be able to tell from this review if that's something that you're interested in, or if you would go, you know, I'd rather pass on this. This is definitely going to be, this is not for everyone. But if you like the idea of a role-playing game world in a box with a fully realized, interesting, almost a little silly space thing, then you'll like Battlestation's Dirtside.